Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. Here's your host, Morgan Colby and Rick Lemon.
What's going on, Fantasy Champs? My name is Morgan Colby. I got Rick Lemon with me as always. What's poppin', Rick?
What's up?
We got Thursday night preview today. Not gonna lie, probably this game is gonna be very distantly in the background, as like noise, like in the summertime. I like summertime baseball floats around. You're like, yeah, you know what? I'm throw on the game. You listen to it in the background. You're not actually watching baseball intently. You're just listening to it off in the distance, and it's just kind of like static noise. That is this football game right now. Static noise. Very bad. But we're going to talk about that today. See if there's any fantasy relevance in this matchup, which there is. And tell you whether to start or sit certain players. Before we do that, check out our website, fantasychampions.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any of the podcast platforms, please leave a review. Share this podcast with your friends. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe. Click the bell for notifications, like, and comment down below any questions you have for us pertaining to Thursday Night Football. Now, I was going to say this before we started the show. It just left my brain.
Wow. You were saying Thursday night in the past, what they would do. And then
Thursday night in the past, or night games in the past, is they would give the best teams the night games.
Yeah.
Like you knew your organization was on the rise because you got a night game. Now everybody gets them. And we have to sit here and watch this shiz.
Yeah, dude.
How do I even gamble on this?
Well, that's the only way you can watch it, is if you gamble. That's gonna be the only reason to watch.
I'm gonna do a friggin' 5-part parlay and just friggin' hope I win $500.
Bro, this game was on my birthday, and I was like, you know what? We're gonna enjoy a nice Thursday night football game.
Get some Chipotle.
Yeah, and now I don't even think I want to watch the game. I think I'm gonna do something else.
I'm gonna go do something fun. But anyway, we're gonna break down this matchup for you. Go through some of the pluses and minuses. The Falcons at the Panthers is the game, in case you didn't catch that earlier. Very bad. Both these teams are headed for the bottom basement of the league. 44.5 points over under. This is a higher over under than the last game. Don't know why, but we'll see. Hopefully there's some points scored, because there was a stretch of time where Al Michaels was getting triggered because there was no points being scored.
Yeah, if points are scored, then the game will be fantasy relevant. So
we'll start off with the Atlanta Falcons. Why not?
Okay.
I clicked on the Panthers, so now I'm confused. But anyway, we'll start with the Atlanta Falcons here. Marcus Mariota has been borderline streamable.
Yeah, he has. He's been streamable.
And he's had some decent performances on the season. Weeks where he was QB 10, QB 5, QB 6, weeks where he was QB 32, QB 24, and then some mediocre in between matchups. Against Carolina, I think this is a decent matchup and a decent play for fantasy.
Okay.
I don't like Thursday night because I feel like I'd love for somebody to go through at the quarterback position and just put like 5 to 10 years of data to it on Thursday night and take the average of what a player would score on Sunday
and compare it,
the average of what you would score on Thursday night and compare it, and see what the drop in fantasy point total would be on Thursday night for players, because I do think that there's somehow a correlation to that. So I don't think Mariota is going to be great in this game. Like, I don't think he's going to be a top 5 quarterback on the week, but I do think that he can provide good fantasy floor. What are your thoughts on Mariota,
though? I'm not a fan, but if you're going to start him, I mean, it is a good start. It's against Carolina. He had 27 last time he played Carolina. Or he had a little less than that, 27 and a 5-point touchdown lead. Mm-hmm. So it was like 25 fantasy points. Still a really good week. So he's got a really good matchup. Yep. And he's had some good games this year against San Francisco. The Saints was decent. So he's had some good games. He's also had some really bad ones this week. 7 points. Week 4 he had 4 points. So it's really gross, and you're taking a big risk. But if you have a bye week and you need a plug and play, I think Mariota is going to be okay. Probably a top 15 quarterback this week. So I would consider that streamable, but I wouldn't be confident in it whatsoever.
I'm surprised we haven't seen Ritter yet.
I am, well, because they're in second place in the division and they're tied for first.
Fair. I was going to say
if they start losing a little bit more, we'll see them at the end of the season.
How many wins they got? 4?
Yeah, they're 4-5, I think.
So it's a shocking 4-5. Credit goes to Arthur Smith.
They might go 5-5, to be honest, after this week.
They could. Because I totally pegged this team as a team that was going to tank in this class. Like, give Mariota. Honestly, this is a bad idea for them, to be completely frank. Because what I would have done if I was, you drafted Desmond Ritter, what, in the 3rd, 4th round?
Yep. Third round, I think.
You drafted Ritter. You like him, and you want to see what he can do. So, and you don't expect your team to win this year. So you start Ritter, see if he's good. If he blows, you get a top 10, top 5 pick, and you draft a quarterback.
Yeah, which would be kind of unfortunate for him because, if he blows as a rookie, is that really saying that much?
Right.
But,
I mean, that's not fair, but, he's a 3rd-round pick, so the leash is shorter than it would be on a 1st-rounder.
That's true.
So
at least get him.
I would have done that, but they went with Mariota, so I don't know. I don't get what they're doing, but they won 4 games.
They're trying to win. They are trying to win.
Arthur Smith's like, frick y'all, I'm trying to keep my job.
Right. It's gross. So.
We'll see what happens. Desmond Ritter definitely going to start next season, but I thought we would see him sooner. But Mariota's been good. Anyway, running back position. Rick, give us your thoughts on Tyler Algier, because I don't see anyone else being a freaking fantasy relevant guy in this matchup.
Cordell Patterson.
Holy crap! This thing still says he's on IR.
No, he played.
All right, we got 2 fantasy relevant running backs. All right, you starting Patterson this week?
I guess. I mean, it's a good matchup.
He's so.
And if he's on your team, he's been scoring. Yeah. He's averaging he's averaging 18 points a game on the season, just about 17, something like that. So he's having a great year when he's out there. Very touchdown reliant though, because when he doesn't score a touchdown, he gets 5 fantasy points.
Yeah.
This week, for example, had 3 yards a carry and had 40 yards rushing, but he still had 18 fantasy points because he had 2 rushing touchdowns. So they love him in the red zone. I mean, so if they get in the red zone, they're going to give the ball to Patterson. So he's worth a start, but it was so disgusting. And I
feel like ever since Cordell Patterson started putting up fantasy points, he has been a start, but it's been a disgusting start. And so, in this game, I'm gonna imagine this is not going to be a passing football game. I feel like they're gonna try to the team that wins is gonna try to control the clock. So with that being said, Patterson's probably a good play.
There's been weeks this season where the Falcons have thrown the ball 13, 14, and 19 and 20 times.
Yeah.
This past week, 23 times.
Now,
they try to run the ball close to 40 times a game.
The real question is does Patterson take Algier completely out of the equation for fantasy purposes?
I think it definitely. See, that's what I thought, but then this week he gets 13 fantasy points, Tyler Algier. So I don't know. I'm gonna say it does though.
Okay.
I'm not starting him.
I agree. I feel like for Atlanta,
I think he's probably the better player at this point.
I do agree with you. I think he's the better player, but for Atlanta, a team that's really not good offensively, to rely on 2 different running backs, it's not a good idea for you to start.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
So it's if you're if you have Tyler Algier, I would hold him out of your lineup for now and then stick with Cordell Patterson.
Right.
Or, obviously if you don't have Patterson, then whatever. But
not to mention, Caleb Huntley also gets 7 carries a game too.
That's gross.
Even with they use 3 running backs.
That's gross.
It's really gross.
And they also have Damian Williams, who I don't know if he's on IR.
I think he's a healthy scratch at this point.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Wide receivers. There's really no one else in the wide receiver core that I would start outside of Drake London. And even based on the way he's been playing, I don't know that I would start Drake London in this matchup against Carolina this week.
No, I'm not starting.
It's not a bad matchup for him. So, like, if you wanted to start Drake London this week, it is a good start, but I would prefer to keep him out of your lineup.
Yeah, I think if he's going to have a good game, this could be
the one.
A week where he has a good game, but he hasn't had a good game since week 3. So, yeah, I'm very out on Drake London.
Okay, fair enough. Any other wide receivers you want to talk about?
I don't think there is, dude.
Oh, man. And then tight end Kyle Pitts for Atlanta.
Oh, boy.
So, Pitts has been interesting. But there's one thing I know about Kyle Pitts that has been an issue and has been a situation that we have to discuss. And it's the fact that he's been touchdown dependent. And it's like when he catches a touchdown and he has a good week, everyone panics. And it's like, oh, we got to rank him top 5 again. This is break come out party. He's like, no. He's just a touchdown dependent tight end. When he catches a touchdown, it's a good week. When he doesn't, he scores 3. That's Kyle Pitts. And I hate to say it, but that's what he is at this point. And if you want to still hold him on your fantasy rosters because of the name talent, then that's fine.
Oh, well, with the tight ends the way they are, I don't think he's like he should still be rostered. And he's still, I think, like of low end tight end 1, but he's just not.
Right.
He's not in the same conversation as Andrews or Kelsey or even Hawk or Ertz or Dallas Goedert.
Mm-hmm.
He's a tier below that. He's like with the Greg Dulcich and the Dalton Schultz and the some of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Gerald Everett. I think he's in that category.
So but, I think at this point he's definitely not a start for Thursday. And until we see consistency from Kyle Pitts, I don't think
he's a start, but again, like the way the tight ends are, you probably do have to start.
No,
I mean, who else are you? Are you going to pick somebody up? Are you starting Cole Kmet over Kyle Pitts?
I would start Cole Kmet over Kyle Pitts. I'd start.
You honestly would?
I would start Greg Dulcich over Kyle Pitts. Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
I can't go that far.
I know you can't, but 3 weeks ago I was ready to go that far. I was just keeping it inside my soul.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. It is a good matchup this week.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about Carolina. So, equally as bad.
Yep.
Options. So, Rick, I haven't looked yet. Who's starting at quarterback?
So I thought it was going to be Baker because he came in and played really well.
They're going with PJ Walker again?
But they are starting PJ Walker, which doesn't...
This tells me they're trying to tank.
Yeah, it does to me too. Because Baker actually came in and played really well. 14 of 20 for 155 yards, 2 touchdowns. It's pretty good. But they're going to roll with PJ Walker, so I have no idea what they're doing. But either way, you don't want to start either guy.
Yeah, I agree. I'm out on both. There's also rumors that Sam Darnold could be activated off IR, so you have even more quarterback. This is ridiculous. Like Matt Carroll broke his leg, so he can't. Like
I know. You would think they would give him an opportunity, but
he's broke his leg, so he's on IR. Broke it. Remember, he hurt himself in the preseason.
Right.
So, but Sam Darnold, I don't know if they would give him an opportunity if he came off IR, but a lot of quarterbacks here that's not exciting to see. So I agree with Rick. Wouldn't start any. We have running backs here: Raheem Blackshear, Donta Foreman, and Chuba Hubbard. 3 running backs all have had some form of success in fantasy football in the season. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what, like, if Hubbard plays, I probably would take Hubbard over the other 3, but I don't know if he's playing. And
do you want, I don't know if I want any of them.
I know. I see. The other problem is that Atlanta's a good matchup.
I know that is the problem. The hope would be that Hubbard doesn't play, and then you could try Foreman one more week with a good matchup.
Here's what I'll say.
But
this is what I would do. If you have Hubbard, start him.
Okay.
If you have Foreman, start him. If you have both, I don't know. Don't start either.
So if they both play, you're okay with starting one of them?
Yes.
I'm not.
I'm okay with that.
I'm out
when they
Panthers.
they played together, a couple weeks ago against a harder matchup, they both had success in fantasy. So there's no
Yeah,
reason why they can't.
That is true. That is true. But the offense also had a sudden burst of being good against
No, they're
both
not.
the Bucks and the Falcons. So I mean, who knows? Maybe they do it again against the Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
But this week, like they blew against the Bengals, and I think that's more of who they actually are. But I mean, we'll see. I would feel a lot better about it if Hubbard was out. Then I'd feel much better about starting Foreman. But if they both play, I feel like they're just going to split, and it's just going to be kind of a mess. But we'll see.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's talk about wide receivers. I don't like Terrace Marshall or any of the other wide receivers in this group. DJ Moore is the guy that you would like to think that he's a must start.
It's so annoying because he got 27 points last time he played the Falcons,
Yeah.
and then last week he gets 4. So it's like, what is he going to get 4 again, or is he going to get 25? Like,
Right. So,
dude, I can't.
I feel like you have to start DJ Moore. Like it's.
Yeah.
You know, he hasn't done enough. Where like 2-3 weeks ago, Rick was saying, drop him.
Well, through 6 weeks of the season, I thought he was on the same level of Allen Robinson.
Yeah.
But ever since they fired the coach,
DJ
19 and 27, but then 4. So who knows?
So yeah, I think DJ Moore's got to be in your starting lineup, especially against Atlanta, who's not very good. But like, I just don't know what Carolina is doing.
Yeah,
quarterback.
I think if you have a really stacked team, I would be okay with sitting him. But yeah, you probably got to start him.
You probably got to start him, and then there's no tight ends for the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
So
no. Terrace Marshall though, maybe.
No.
Yeah.
I'm good.
I have a little bit of hope for him. I'm definitely not starting him though, but I do want to see him. If he has 3 good weeks in a row, you could potentially have a conversation with him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's definitely don't start him at this point.
I agree. So pick a team here. Give me a selection,
dude. I don't know. I'm gonna say the Falcons and puke.
I'm gonna say the Falcons as well.
So that means Falcons going 5-5.
I guess so. I hate it. I hate it with a passion.
Dude, they're legit gonna win like 7 or 8 games.
That's crazy. I can't believe that Vegas put this as a 44.5 over under. I'm not really sure where the points are going to come from.
Well, last time they played, it was like 60 something, I think, because it was 37-34.
Wow.
But yet both these it's so weird because like both offenses outside of that game have sucked.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. They're 2 teams that make no sense.
It kind of sucks that we have to watch this.
Yeah, again, I don't know if I'm gonna. I mean, I might place a bet, which will force me to watch the game.
Yeah. But
if I don't bet on this game, I'm probably not going to watch it.
Fair enough. There you go. Thursday night preview. Real short episode this week for you guys. Not super hard to listen to. We're crushing this.
Right.
We got starts and sits coming this week. Buys and sells. We're getting closer to your trade deadlines. Getting close to the end of the fantasy season. So be sure to check those episodes out. We'll see you later, guys.
See you.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Champions Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes and YouTube and follow us on Twitter @TheFFChamps.